Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we talk about the psychological perspective of language learning. The first theory in this respect was behaviorism theory, which was actually proposed by Watson within the scope of psychology. So this theory was actually firstly advanced during the first half of 20th century. Okay, behaviorism dominated the study of language, teaching, learning, and psychology plus education. As I've just said, it was firstly coined by Watson, who's originally a psychologist, attempted firstly to explain the human behavior and the relationship between mind and human behavior. Following that, he extended his investigation to language in order to explain how a human acquires his first and second language. The theory proposes that language learning is based on the assumption that all learning, including language learning, is based on imitation, drilling, reinforcement, and habit formation. Meaning that any learning, if you're whether first language or second language learner, you have to create association between stimulus and response. So without you creating such a stimulation, no learning is expected to take place. So normally, let's say children or infants are exposed to their native language from the environment. Okay, so the sounds they are exposed to actually triggers them to produce the language. So the language around them produced by others is actually the stimulus, which stimulates them later on once those sounds hit their ears. Okay, this stimulates them to produce the sounds. Okay, to copy, mimic, or imitate the sounds produced by their parents, for example. Okay, so they respond. So their attempt to imitate those sounds, actually, they respond to the stimulus. Okay, so this response, okay, over days is actually associated with what? Is associated with the stimulus that they receive from the environment. Okay, over drilling and practice, this behavior becomes what? Becomes proceduralized, okay, and habit. So that becomes built in humans' brain, so that they needless to pay attention next time once they produce those utterances. Okay, so language learning, according to Watson, takes place as a result of association between stimulus and response. This process is reinforced by parental feedback or what is termed as reinforcement. So that after practice and drilling, the language becomes a habit. That's why it is called, according to behaviorism, language learning is a habit formation process, and the errors produced by those learners, whether first language speakers or second language speakers, are actually a result from the habits of their first language. Okay, they are no more call them forms or call them anything else, right? Okay, or linguistic items or rules or linguistic rules, they call them habits. So that for them, the habits of L1 or the native language interferes in the context of the second language, okay, blocking the progress that made by language learners in their course of acquiring the second language. Actually, the behaviorist view of language acquisition was questioned, okay, and encountered by many linguists. Okay, so that actually firstly was played down by Noam Chomsky, who say that children do not learn L1 by repeating or imitating others, but they produce novel utterances that they have never been exposed to or heard. Simply, they apply the rules and develop underlying grammar. Okay, so according to Noam Chomsky, children simply do not imitate, but they produce utterances because they have access to the universal grammar or the UG. يعطيكم العافية.